Professor Vishwanath, founder and president of Mayer's MIT World Peace University, reaffirmed his commitment to realizing Swami Vivekananda's prophecy of uniting science and spirituality for global peace during his address at Fullerton Hall, Chicago. He emphasized the urgent need for a value-based universal education system to cultivate a culture of peace amidst prevailing chaos and violence worldwide. Addressing a gathering of scholars, thinkers, and alumni, the event commemorated 130 years since Vivekananda's historic speech in 1893. Professor Karad, inspired by Vivekananda's teachings, has championed a holistic education approach integrating science and spirituality for over 4 decades, aiming to develop peace-loving global citizens with well-rounded personalities. Enjoy the highlights.
सर बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपके समय के लिए और आपके बारे में मैं जितना भी इंट्रोडक्शन देना चाहूँ दैट इज़ लेस शब्द जो हैं वो मुझे कम पड़ जाएंगे एंड सर आई वुड लाइक टू स्टार्ट विद द टर्म दैट इज़ ऑलवेज एसोसिएटेड विद यू विच इज़ विश्वधर्मी and that is so apt because जितना आपके बारे में हमने जाना है whatever we have learned about you, that term is so apt, and the mission that you are on during this tour as well. Please elaborate a little bit about this term Vishwadharmi, because in this today's world this is such a need of the hour to be everybody to be a Vishwadharmi, because that's how the world peace can be achieved. But आपका ये जो tour है, if you could brief us about this specific tour.
Benji, I'm grateful to you for the kind words which you have used just now, with so much of praise hidden behind. And as you have used it, a very word which is being always suffixed to my name, Vishwanath Karad.
Right.
Being a teacher, being a man of science, man of religion, man of spirituality, but coming from a Vaishnavite family of in the name of Jnaneshwar, Sant Tukaram, and all the great saints and sages of the whole world, I am a very firm believer of the very concept of religion which has been stated and uttered in this very city of Chicago.
Absolutely.
On 11 September 1893. And while addressing the people, he spoke about the meaning of religion itself. So let me honestly and very humbly make a statement to you. When you are calling this as a Vishwadharmi Vishwanath Karad, I can only very firmly say and narrate to you that I have been a humble servant of humanity, with little bit of understanding from the poorest of the poor village, and coming to the place of having about 5 very unique universities to promote the culture of peace in the world. The mission has been that since my childhood, possibly at the age of about 16, 17, I started my journey as an engineer. And I never wanted to be an engineer basically, but still I became an engineer. I joined mechanical engineering, and I could understand the very meaning of what is Google, what is Facebook, what is IT, what is computer, and all the modern technology words. But at the same time, I could really see very deeply the very scientific truth behind all these aspects what we have been talking about. And the main concern was that when I heard the first time in my life the words of wisdom spoken by Vivekananda, and when he had uttered that time to the world community in this very place of Chicago, in the Fullerton Hall, which was, I really appreciate that time, those people who were the great people who had organized the first World Parliament of Religions, and during which these discussion went on, and possibly the person from India in a saffron robe and with the turban on the head, when he came here and uttered the first sentence, "My sisters and brothers of America." and possibly all the scholars, thinkers, and philosophers of the world community. I think that time these words became a buzzword for the whole community of human race. I think it had conveyed a wonderful meaning of life and what life stands for, what global society means, what is peace loving global society. And some or the other, I had the fortune of going through those words, and that became my real ideal in my life. And possibly this mission, what we are on today, possibly about hardly 7 people, my two vice chancellors, chancellor, directors, we have been highly committed for this cause. And especially when this very unique dome, possibly the largest in size and the height and the width and the breadth, is not the message really speaking, but the very concept and message behind has given us a new dimension to convey to the whole society, especially the educated one. All the chancellors, vice chancellors, professors, deans, directors from medical, engineering, and other aspects of life. I think we have been evolving, trying to say what is the value-based universal education system.
Right.
But all this is ultimately to promote the culture of peace in the world. That word itself conveys again the very essence and philosophy of what is value-based education, with an appropriate component of science and appropriate component of spirituality. Such should be the education system. But on today's background, I'll possibly take the liberty of just reading a small paragraph out of this concept itself. Friends, you are well aware that the entire world today is passing through a tense and chaotic stage, even worse than what was experienced during the two world wars. Sorry. Friends, remember, the present one is also a war between good and evil, sacrifice and greed, virtues and vices, tolerance and stubbornness, religious coexistence and fundamentalism, traditional time-tested values and quick gains, and ego, and so on. The various issues involved are not only local, that is restricted to one's own country or nation, but are global as well. The world is witnessing mind-boggling scientific and industrial developments like artificial intelligence, internet, IT, nanotechnology, journey to the outer space, and whatnot on the one hand, while on the other, there is a total chaos, confusion, terrorism, bloodshed, and massacre in the name of some caste, creed, race, religion, and trivial issues like boundaries of nations. It is most unfortunate that, in spite of these amazing and wonderful developments for all possible enjoyments, material comforts, for leading a luxurious life, and for the welfare of the mankind, the family system, which is vital for the survival, is on the rocks and certainly deteriorating rapidly because of the decline in the mutual faith, affection, true love, loyalty, trust, neglecting the religious duty towards each other, which is the very foundation of the ideal family system. I think these are some of the aspects which we normally think about, and again we try to analyze. On this background, what is my duty or your duty, and especially the duty and the mission taken by the university like Oxford, Cambridge, MIT, Boston, Stanford, or some university from China or Japan, and India too, like a World Peace University. And the discussion and deliberation and the deep understanding and study for last 45 years. And we have come to some understanding that on this background, it is said normally, it is said that no nation in the whole world or no society is built by the so-called ordinary people on the streets. It is to be built by the so-called educated people like you or me and all other university people. And the solution is only education and training.
Absolutely.
The two words.
So sir, आपका अभी आपने जब ऑक्सफोर्ड की बात की, so MIT itself, the World Peace University itself, is known as the Oxford of the East. And when we talk about the dome, we all know about the dome. We all know that even its diameter, in its height, this is the largest dome. But I would say the physical aspect is there, but the largest thing that we see in behind this dome is the vision and the idea behind it. And I did visit the dome virtually, and it's a beautiful place, and the way it has been planned, and
Rather, it is not a beautiful place that is important. It is the center of knowledge divine.
absolutely, absolutely,
Understanding the knowledge and wisdom part.
absolutely,
Not collecting information or data. Usually, normally it happens that we collect the information, data collection is not the real story behind. But basically going beyond the information and data collection, which is done by all modern tools, one step beyond is called as a wisdom part of it. The real true knowledge part of it. Knowledge along with the
data,
science part
right?
of it. And that's the path which we could understand because we had the discussions with the greatest scientists of the whole world on one side, and on the other we had the spiritual background,
Right.
wherein we have understood to a certain extent, not fully well, but we could understand what is exactly the meaning of spirituality,
Yeah.
what exactly the meaning of religion itself, and thereby for last 45 years, because we had been having some close understanding of the religious books too, whether it is Bhagavad Gita or the Holy Quran or Holy Bible, Holy Tripitak, Holy Guru Granth Sahib. You take them all and deeply try to study, understand, and experience it. Then the real meaning and essence of that religious book is understood. That has been the journey, and that has been the attempt, sincere attempt, with full faith and full deep understanding of the words of wisdom spoken in all these. We have come to conclusion that religion is nothing but to perform your duty. As I said to you again, I repeat, duty towards your mother, the father, the family, the society, the nation, and the whole world. That is, world is one family.
Absolutely. So when you're talking about nation, sir, जब हम भारत की बात करते हैं, when we talk about Bharat, and talking about the prophecies or the words by the greatest beings that India is going to be the Vishwa Guru in 21st century, we have reached so far, and as part of Indian American community, when we go back to Bharat, we see we see a totally new Bharat. Your views on Bharat being the Vishwa Guru?
I think you have asked the very right chord you have been trying to strike. Again, we have to come back to the words of wisdom spoken by Vivekananda.
जी बिल्कुल.
Basically, to be a Vishwaguru, this is again uttered by Vivekananda here. In this very place of Chicago. And he said, in the 21st or 22nd century, or this century, what is going on, India will emerge as a knowledge corridor of the whole world. The first is the knowledge and wisdom part of it. And unless all the people in India understand the essence and philosophy behind this word of the knowledge divine, and then having a sense of discipline, character, commitment, and then understanding our own limitations and the power and capacity, and making not the Indian time or American time or the British time. American Indian time means not to follow time. That is called as Indian time. So we have to change ourselves. You can be called as the highest teacher or a vice chancellor or a principal or a director only then if you have the commitment, discipline, decency,
Absolutely.
decorum, and dignity in each and every walk of your life. And whole India to change our mindset and be on this path. That time India is and it will be
Absolutely.
Vishwaguru in the 22nd, 23rd century.
Century.
And we hope that if people like you and all of us join hands together,
Absolutely.
we can make a change within ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We need to have a change because the Vedic literature, Vedic sciences, the Bharatiya Sanskriti, Indian culture and tradition, this has been a very wonderful scenario in the whole world. The realizing the self, and the self means again a duty. I think that day is not far off. India will emerge and India will be recognized as a Vishwaguru, a teacher for the whole human race. That time has come. And that's why possibly all the developments in India and possibly the countries around are in the right direction. And possibly there has been a realization. Again, it comes to realizing the self again, and trying to understand what is our duty again. It comes to the, in India it is called as not ego. If you become egoistic, nothing can be achieved. If you say I am the doer regarding this very small laboratory or the important mission which came up, I think if I feel that I am the doer, I am the maker, it will not be proper. It will not be proper for myself and for the people in my family or the society. इन हिंदी में ऐसा बोलते हैं, नम्र झाला भूता त्याने कोडिले अनंता. जो विनम्र होता है, जो नतमस्तक होता है माँ बाप के प्रति, ईश्वर कल्पना के प्रति, वही दुनिया को जीत लेता है. क्या मतलब है इसका, क्या मीनिंग है इसके पीछे? तो एकम सत विप्रा बहुधा वदंती. All religious scriptures are nothing but the life guiding scriptures. They teach you how to live and how not to live. The essence and philosophy of life itself, the divine life force. This understanding will make a change. And the world is looking to India, our mother India, with a hope and expectation that it is this country which has that wonderful understanding of the life cycle, the universe itself, the Brahmand itself. And that's why I said to you that now the time has come. You should establish the schools of consciousness and reality. These are the words of wisdom from Vedic literature, Vedas and Upanishads. They are the treasures of the knowledge divine and the wisdom itself.
Right.
But that realization has started coming up in India, and certainly will take that role
Lead the world.
with a sense of commitment, and again the commitment for the cause, noble cause of peace and culture of peace.
So, sir, coming back to Swami Vivekananda, and I'm going to connect it with the university itself. He was, he was talking about science, combining science and spirituality, and the university.
But this is the essential part of life.
Right, absolutely.
It is not some statement for the fun.
Right, exactly.
Being an engineer.
But not many universities are actually following this.
No, time has come. I'll tell you now. I went to Oxford yesterday and had a small conference. What for? Because these are the people who are trying to educate and train the society world over. Maybe any university anywhere in the world. But now they are looking with some hope and expectation, with curiosity, many of them. And I have a feeling that the time has come again, that all the world-class universities are in search of understanding what is this coronavirus, or what is that one laboratory, whether it is a man-made one or a natural one.
Right.
All these aspects are changing. And the whole India is trying to take this very vision or the insight they possess from the literature of what India stood for. Again, that Vedic literature, which has been having so many understandings in Bhagavad Gita itself, which has been one of the supreme scriptures which can guide the humanity. And that understanding, as far as I'm concerned, and I know it very well being a teacher, that all these universities will change their mindset. Slowly, it will take some time. But all these universities will have to start the schools of consciousness, reality, the ultimate reality, the mind, matter, spirit, and consciousness are the four words which are being really appreciated, understood by the chancellors, vice chancellors, and the men of science and reality. The time has come.
Right.
And it's again a prophecy of that great noble son Swami Vivekananda, or philosopher son Dhaneshwara itself, or any sense world over, the prophets. But the misunderstanding that is all ritualistic and blind faith,
Right.
that understanding is slowly declining. And especially after this coronavirus of the COVID-19,
Yeah.
when all the churches, the temples, the mosques, and gurudwaras were closed. And I myself, including the Prime Minister of India or the world, in America and in the Rome or even in the Great Britain, in this country, America, which is so advanced, so rich, but there have been the highest number of deaths
Right. Absolutely.
because of coronavirus. How it happened? But in India, even in the slums areas, the deaths were very minimal. How it happened? When such a beauty and such a richness all over the world, but why this country has suffered so much? Because of possibly some misunderstanding. And we can go on discussing about the Ayurvedic treatment and everything.
Right.
But this has been one very unique shock to make us understand the true nature of this universe. And hence it is said sometime, the rule of law of any nation, which the people, the rulers make it.
Right.
Rule of law of any nation must run close to the rule of life of the people. And the rule of the life of the people, which they make it themselves, must run close to the rule of Mother Nature, the Almighty, and possibly that will help the society, the human beings, to be on the right path of promoting the culture of peace for the establishment of the global peace-loving society. These are the words not for fun. This realization has already started coming. And in the field of education, being in the field of education and research and innovation, I for one and all my friends like Dr. Vijay Badkar, Mashalkar, as I said to you, from India, and the greatest scientists of the world and greatest philosophers of the world, I think they have started understanding this essential philosophy behind these universal truths. The ultimate reality, the mind, matter, spirit, and consciousness are going to be the four words which we have to think and which we will try to analyze scientifically and otherwise. That has been the path chosen, and I know hundreds of professors from India. Mr. Varkhedi of the Sanskrit literature, the great man, and many others, Dr. Karan Singh, Arif Muhammad Khan, they are the greatest scholars. They are in demand world over. That they would like to understand and know the principles behind. So hundreds of professors are being invited world over in the Harvard or Oxford and every university, because they would like to understand the real essence and meaning of life itself, and the nature of the soul and the spirit, and the chemistry of mind too. These are the words which were never used before. But possibly now the world is curious enough. They had the shock. And then the realization of what that God means, what the ultimate reality means, what is that Almighty God and the ultimate truth. These words have become common for discussion, deliberation, and the appropriate understanding of these words. I think I have a hope and a feeling that's why this World Peace Hall delegation, which has started taking a journey, starting with Oxford, Cambridge, and then coming to America, going down and touching at the feet of the Swami Vivekananda in the Fullerton Hall, and America being such a great country, but still it has its own problems. And then moving ahead, but it can give some wonderful pathway if we join hands together.
Absolutely. So, sir, talking about today in today's world, peace is what we are looking for. Everybody, that is the need of the hour. And when we talk about the ancient knowledge that India has, and we're talking about Swami Vivekananda and Sandhyaneshwarji, their teachings, their words are still so applicable. They are ageless. But when we come to the youngsters, how do we imbibe and tell our youngsters that those words are actually the path, are the words of wisdom that are applicable no matter which which era you are in? How do we pass it on to the youngsters, because they are going to lead this world after, again, after the visionaries leave? Then how do we imbibe that wisdom and tell them the relevance of these, like Bhagavad Gita, संत ज्ञानेश्वर जी की ज्ञानेश्वरी मैंने भी पढ़ी है, तो how do we tell them that these wisdom is ageless?
I understand what you said, madam. But what I have been being in the teaching faculty and teaching community, I have been experiencing and observing. There is a change.
There is.
Going to hubs, clubs, and all other places for enjoyment. Possibly some decline in the family system itself. The true love and affection is missing between the parents and the children itself. But I see a change myself. I'm quite optimistic about this. After understanding the philosophy behind, after understanding the theories behind, after understanding the science behind, that the world has started thinking. All the universities and colleges are trying to make a change with the appropriate meditation, the yoga, the chanting of the whatever words you say, the Om or yoga in India, but whatever methods and practices world over are. In Islam, I was not aware before that in Islam, going down to the mother and also to the father, कहा जाता है कि माँ ये जिसको बोलते हैं पाँव के नीचे जन्नत होती है, ऐसे कहा है, और बाप यानी पिता जन्नत का दरवाजा है. दर्शे कुरान is to convey the very philosophy behind Quran. What Prophet Muhammad said. Our Guru Nanak Ji from the Sikh community, he says, just discussion and speaking will not give you the realization of the God. ज्ञान की प्राप्ति के बाद ईश्वर पैदा होता है, ईश्वर दिखाई देता है. And especially I would like to make a statement that particularly this coronavirus and the COVID-19, which had made all the temples and churches and everybody closed down, and the greatest, the Prime Minister, the presidents, everybody was behind the locks, behind the doors. But one thing I feel like that the United Nations or the World Health Organization has to emerge little forcefully. They must assertively exercise and send the message to the whole of the world. I won't say whether it is possible, but world government concept is also a new concept. But whether it will be possible, because you know that today, whatever the wars and the conflicts going on, they are very horrifying. The stockpiling of the weapons, the chemical, nuclear, biological or chemical, invisible. This coronavirus had only 20% strength of the origin. If it would have come, or it would have come with 30-40%, possibly we could not have met. This is a situation.
Right.
This is a fact of life. And about this, there has been a realization to the whole world community. They have started understanding what the God means, what the Almighty God means. It's an invisible force or energy which binds this whole universe together. It has a very deep-rooted meaning, Benji. And I have a hope that the universities will realize, understand our own duties, including myself. as a chancellor, as a professor, and that will show a new pathway,
Absolutely.
a pathway for world peace and possibly serving the whole human race as the humble servants of not India alone, but all the nations of the whole world, and possibly United Nations, the WHO, and all such organizations, and the organizations which possibly so many people are trying to lead today, they are more than convinced. And there is a change. In the last 1 or 2 years' time, I see hundreds of institutions and universities have started the chanting of these very words, how many religions they have, what pathway they have shown. But those are the realizations which is trying to open our eyes and possibly don't go in a wrong path, which will create a disorder in the society, in a person, but which will also create disorder in your own life. A scientific statement.
Right.
The moment you become ideal or the perfect, the process ceases to occur. Is a rule of science. So these things are being realized by the teachers, the universities, and education and training on these lines will make a change. But it may take some time. Immediate solution is not possible. But we have not been now on wrong path. And this small delegation which has come to this place with the hope and expectation that yes, we will try to seek the advice. We'll try to understand if there is anything wrong with us or if there is any selfish motive behind, egoist feelings behind, the things will not happen. And I don't consider that I am the one, but I have been having some experience and possibly whatever messages, the divine messages are received, I try to follow that path.
So talking about your divine, the divine messages or the inspiration that you have, so the concept of the dome itself, when it came to you in 2005, and all these years that it took, and you are the architect, you are the visionary behind the dome. What was the inspiration? Like, how did that idea come? Because I myself wanted to know about it, or like how did you come up with a concept like that? It took 13 years. Any milestones, any memories behind, during those 13 years?
बहन जी बात ऐसी है कि really I have not yet understood what is that message. But in my lifetime, whatever pathway I have chosen, I don't know how many miraculous things have happened. But I never feel that I am the doer, I am the maker, as I told you before.
Right.
But this very dome, when you speak, it becomes bigger than St. Peter's dome, which I was not knowing.
Right.
But it has no designer, it has no planner, it has no architect, it has no builder. Very ordinary masons have done it. And it has come up, and thereafter I have the realization that this is something very unique. And it gives a 100% much better message for the well-being of the mankind. These realizations come a little later. And still today, I do not feel that I am the doer, I am the maker, I am that one who is so highly blessed by somebody. But there's a divine message.
There's a superpower that made it happen.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I would like to tell my viewers, the dome itself, it's 160 feet in diameter, right, sir? And 263 feet in height. And I was looking at all the statues that it has inside it, and how you planned it, and talking about the prayer hall, talking about the library. And I also heard what Shri Venkaiah Naiduji said, that it is one of those wonders that we all talk about. Curiosity from some of our viewers was, can we take it as one of the wonders of the world in some time or someday, one day?
That's a word very short of it. Not because it's the biggest and the beautiful and convey the message, but it's a truth. What is to be called as a heritage, world heritage,
right,
or wonder is decided by some group of people.
Yeah, it's a very.
I don't claim that I am some maker, as I said. And as I said to you, possibly in the known human history, I repeat the word. But this I came to know after it was built. I had planned. And somehow or the other, as a student, of engineering sciences, philosophy, and the other subjects very deeply, and the religious scriptures too. I think this understanding comes from within.
Hmm.
How and who gives the teaching, we don't know. But I repeat to you, madam, that let us not consider that I am the doer, I am the maker. What you are today, sitting here in front of me, whether in your childhood you thought that you would be in this position, it's not possible.
Hmm.
But some divine messages are given to you early morning. Do this and don't do this. This is the right pathway. This is a blessing of your mother or the father or the deity, whatever you believe in. So likewise, this happens. So I have a very humble look to the whole of the story of our life, the career of our life.
Yeah.
But one thing I have learned again, that if you become egoistic and selfish, you will be ruined.
Hmm.
You will be on the wrong path.
करता भाव नहीं चाहिए.
So that's possibly the understanding, and that's possibly the prayer which I have come here
Right.
to bow down
Hmm.
to that invisible.
Absolutely. So, sir, finally, of course, last few points. One is, jitne bhi like people who did not know about this university, the message and the divine, or the purpose behind your mission and your vision. I would like my viewers to definitely go to Pune and visit the place, because
come as our guest.
मैं वही बोल रही
Take
थी,
care
for
of it.
our viewers, I would love everybody. That is a place you all should visit. Again, talking about the university as well, the number of programs it has, that is a totally, another story. It's a huge university, and the dome itself, and the prayer hall, the library. That is a place. Whenever you go to Bharat, make sure. And then again, sir is inviting everybody, so make sure you come and you spread the word, and spread the word, not, as he said, not just about the place itself, but the message behind it, message of connecting people, message of world peace. And sir, yeah, go ahead.
As you have spoken so much in praise of me and my work, it's not a single individual's work.
Right.
It is always by a group of people,
Absolutely.
the entire family. I can only close my comments and some brief information.
But sir, before you close, संत ज्ञानेश्वर के बारे में थोड़ा सा अगर जो आपने the work that you have done on the घाट of Indrayani Nadi, and थोड़ा बहुत उसके बारे में, your inspiration and your feelings about Sant Gyaneshwar.
Basically, I am a believer that all the great saints, sages, and seers of the whole world, they have a common journey. They have never been different from each other at all. And Sant Dhaneshwara, fortunately, was the first social reformer who proved to the whole world that the soul or the spirit of all living beings in the world is nothing but the same. It is no difference at all. In India, there was a caste system and the religious differences, and there were so many restrictions for the poor and the needy and the backward community to go into the temple or to read the religious books. And for the first time, he was the person to prove, by making a buffalo recite the same words of wisdom from Bhagavad Gita or any Vedic literature. And that time the world came to know for the first time that the soul, the spirit, prevailed the same way in each and every living being. So hence I said to you, he was the first social reformer, but more than that, it was the embodiment of knowledge divine.
Yes.
At the age of only 16 years of time, when he had lost his parents for so many reasons, and then when he spoke on this Bhagavad Gita and came out with a scripture called as Jnaneshwari, as a scientist, as an engineer, as a man of education, I like to vouch upon this, that has been one of the finest universal narration of the principles and laws of nature and life, most scientific, most logical and philosophical. And can you imagine, 745 years back, he speaks these words of wisdom and gives a wonderful insight and a vision how to live, how not to live. It's a very wonderful narration.
It is.
I can tell you that if you come and visit, not as some Hindu deity or a Hindu saint, but when I said the comparison from the philosopher Saint Naneshwara to philosopher Saint Dr. Albert Einstein, that comparison itself will give you the resolution and the answer. So, if this conclusion is to be made, I read out this one just before. Friends, it is called as a fellowship. Remember, we are the birds of the same nest. We may wear different skins, we may speak different tongues, we may believe in different religions, we may belong to different cultures, yet we share the same home, the Mother Earth. Born on the same planet, covered by the same skies, gazing at the same stars, breathing the same air, we must learn to progress together or miserably perish together. For a person can live individually but can only survive collectively. I think these words are more than adequate enough to understand what is science, what is spirituality, and what is religion. Every possible way which has been shown to live a happy, contented life. And that's what's our role. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for these beautiful
you.
words, and thank you for
Thank you so
doing this for the whole world, for the whole humanity. We are blessed to have you here in Chicago. We are blessed to have you here in the US.
I'll say just join our hands together.
Absolutely, sir.
The
We are in
press,
this together.
The media,
Absolutely.
and the people, the society. Let's come little closer, understand each other, and then try to contribute something for the whole human race. As a humble servant of the humanity.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Just one quick logo up the अपना अपना